Every time I try to read the Bible, my stupid human brain shuts down when odd or unbelievable things are spoken of. For example, in the book of Maccabees, it is mentioned that they forcibly circumcised boys. I start thinking that's weird, and it throws off my study. Or when I hear Noah was hundreds of years old, there seems to be a lot of these situations in the parts of the Bible that I've read. I know my brain doesn't compare to God's wisdom, but how do we handle these mental hurdles that don't make any sense to our modern mindset? Love the honest question.
Yeah, no, that's great. Well, this is why Jesus says, unless you enter the kingdom as a little child, you will not enter. So we have to become like children, and one of the attributes of children is an attitude of trust. Okay, so when you get to these things, first of all, I'd say like the forcible circumcision of boys, that's not necessarily advocating that as a rule, and this is important. We should make that a point. I think when people approach Scripture, they often assume that they're going to read a book that is like a children's story Bible, that is going to be full of edifying stories that have a moral lesson, that is going to help you to do wrong, to do right and avoid evil.
Fables.
Right, exactly. And then you read the actual Bible, which is full of, as we were saying about it, rascals and con men and promiscuous individuals and murderers and all this kind of stuff. And we're scandalized because we think, oh, this is all supposed to be good stories. But no, the human characters in the story are not the heroes. God is the hero. And what we're seeing is our sin on display, and God saving us despite the fact that we do all kinds of things like, forcibly circumcise boys out of, a kind of a rash, misplaced religious zeal, things like this. So that for some of them, and for some of the other things like the miraculous elements or the longer ages and stuff like that, sometimes, I teach my students, when you face these kind of contradictions, you're not sure, like, how should I understand these large ages of the patriarchs? Do I take that literally? Did they count years in a different way? Well, we don't. The answer is we don't actually know. We're not sure what exactly to do, but adopt the disposition of Augustine, right? Faith seeking understanding, okay? And say, Lord, I trust that this is true, although I may not know how it is true, okay? So I accept it, I receive it, I'm not sure exactly in what way it's true, but I know that it is true, and so you kind of, you have to sometimes live in a certain kind of tension, right? But that's the act of faith. And St. Augustine says that God intentionally put some of these apparent contradictions into Scripture to test our faith, and some of them become resolved.
A lot of this is part of the human condition, living with unanswered questions. No matter what worldview you adopt, you're going to run into things that don't make sense.
Right.
And
that doesn't excuse us from trying to come up with a sensible understanding of the world, but you're absolutely right. You're not gonna cover every single base in this lifetime. Yeah.
Hey, thank you so much for watching. Before you go, do us a favor, leave a comment, let us know what you thought of the video, like, and subscribe.